Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday Dharma service, and a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. We will begin our service with the ringing of the kansho, followed by the chanting of Jusege. You can follow either on the screen or page 93 in the purple service book in front of you.
Namandap, 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 namandap.
Okay, we will now have the reading of Three Treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Please join me in hands together as we read the Three Treasures. Hard is it to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the Three Treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpa. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. 三消えもん。人参受けがたし、今すでに浮く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に消えし立て祭るべし。自ら仏に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに大道を体現して無常よ起こさん。自ら法に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに深く共造に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに大衆を通りして一切無限ならん。無常人事未明の法は百千万語にもあようことかたし、我今検問し受事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立て祭らん。ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ。
And now Reverend Umezu will deliver her Dharma message.
I invite you all to once again put your hands together as I read a passage written by Venerable Shinran. It is difficult to meet with the causal power of universal vow, even over many lifetimes. It is difficult to receive the true and real wisdom of the Buddha, even over 100 million aeons. If by chance we are able to receive it, we should rejoice for all the causes and conditions of the distant past. Namandavats, namandavats. Well, good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Good? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us here at the West Los Angeles Buddhist Temple. And I would like to welcome back everyone who's been joining us and offer a special welcome to anyone who's joining us for the first time in person or on Zoom. This is our first regular service for the year, right? Yes, it's our first regular service for the year. So once again, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. The passage that I just read can be found in the preface of Venerable Shinran's main textual work, which in English is called The Collection of Passages on the True and Real Teaching, Activity, and Enlightenment of the Pure Land Way. In this passage, Venerable Shinran is expressing his feeling of how amazing it is that he was able to meet with the teaching of Amida Buddha's fundamental vow. In this passage, he is clarifying that when we are able to meet it, we should be happy and appreciative for all the things that happened in the past, just in order for us to meet with this teaching today. Isn't this an interesting thought? Have you ever received a gift and thought to thank everything that has happened in the past just for you to receive the gift right now? If anything, I would think, generally speaking, we might think of the past as something we long to experience again, or maybe something that we want to totally forget about and move on from. In addition, I think that in today's world, there is a movement where people think that it's not about the past, it's not about the future. We should just be in the moment, be in the present. But what does that mean for us on this Jodo Shinshu path? What is Venerable Shinran and Shakyamuni Buddha, Amida Buddha, telling us about what this present moment is? According to Buddha, any given moment is a culmination and result of past actions in body, speech, and thought. Not just from ourselves as individuals, but also, at the same time in tandem with the collective actions of the societal and natural world that we live within. So there is a direct relationship between now and then and now. There is no such thing as now without then. Regardless if we consider our past events in our life in the world to be either big or negligible or great or horrible. To explain what I mean, I would like to share my personal appreciation of the Japanese incarceration of World War II. And you might be thinking, how can you have any appreciation of that? That was such a horrible event. While those sentiments are true, I would like to ask you to please indulge me for the moment. My maternal grandfather was born in the Central California Valley and lived the life as a farmer. His father was a farmer, and they were migrant farmers. And my maternal grandmother was born in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon. So she always considered herself a city girl. My grandfather's life was not on track to become any kind of traveler outside of his area. And my grandmother was not interested in the country or farming life at all. So from these two facts alone, there would probably be no chance that they would ever meet. They lived in different types of cities, different types of lifestyles, different states. This was in the 30s, right? 30s and early 40s. However, the war broke out, and all the people of Japanese ancestry on the West Coast were rounded up and incarcerated in camps in the Midwest. As a result from this, my grandfather ended up in St. Louis, Missouri. Also as a result of the camps, my grandmother ended up in St. Louis, Missouri. And so they ended up meeting at a social gathering there. My grandfather would always recount that if it were not for being in camp, he would have never met my grandmother and had the family that he had, which he always expressed so much love for. So even though people may think that the incarceration was a horrible experience, for my grandfather, he would always tell me that that horrible experience opened up the door to one of his greatest experiences of meeting my grandmother and starting a family with her. Building off of his story, when I think about it for my own life, if my grandparents never met, then my mother would have never been born. In addition, it was in the camps that the Buddhist Churches of America, BCA, which is this temple's umbrella organization in the U.S., BCA was established. Because of the existence of this organization, I have to step back a bit. My father was also a minister in this organization, but he came from Japan. But so if it wasn't for the existence of this organization that was established during camp, my father would have never been able to apply to study and live abroad as a minister here in the U.S. But because of this institution existing, he was able to do so. And then he was able to meet my mother. So as I reflect on it, I owe my life due to the events that happened because of the incarceration of Japanese Americans. And since I am standing here right now, today, giving this talk, if I wasn't born, you might not be here listening to me. Or maybe even, I'm not taking credit for you being here, but the events of this moment would be different for even you. So my story is not to glorify the events of Japanese incarceration by any means, but rather to illustrate the point about how integral and inseparable past events are from our lives today, whether we embrace that past or detest it. And so I hope you can see from this that events of the past are not just things that happened in the past that we can leave behind, but they are causes and conditions that allow now to happen as they are. The actions and events of the past were seeds that matured into future events and moments, which is now. So what does that mean for us and how we live our lives today? If the events of the past were seeds for the future, which is now the present, then it's clear that our present events and actions are seeds for the future. What kind of seeds are we planting for our individual future, for our future of society? Future events will not randomly unfold as we may think, but they will unfold based on our actions of today. One time, our guest speaker, Kuwahara Sensei, came here. He gave the analogy of a golfer. He talked about when a golfer is golfing, the golfer looks down at the ball, but also looks to where they want to hit the ball. And so, based on where they want to hit the ball, they adjust their body and their swing to hit the ball in the direction that they want it to go. Essentially, the golfer has an image of where they want their ball to go. If they didn't care about where the ball is going, and they only cared about this present moment, then they can just swing the club in any direction, because it doesn't matter where the ball is going if there was no relationship between now and the next. But because there is a direct relationship between one action and the next, the player makes a decision and aims that way. It is in the same way that when we set out on a task in our own lives, we should identify what the goal is that we are working toward. If we have no goal or aim, then the chances of us reaching any future endeavor that we may wish is nil almost, right? If we think that we can live today without worrying about tomorrow at all, when we arrive at tomorrow, we may complain and wonder, how did I end up here? This isn't where I wanted to be. This is not the situation I want to be in. And so we need to think about planting seeds for our future self, particularly, towards the end of our life. And this is the importance of directing our heart and minds towards Buddha's teaching of wisdom and compassion, and directing ourselves towards the realm of ultimate nirvana. Amitabha Tathagata, as Dharmakara Bodhisattva, understood that we would need a solid foundation and aspiration for which to direct ourselves. Because of this, in the distant past, Dharmakara planted the most important seed of establishing the fundamental vow and becoming Namo Amidabutsu. This seed is what makes the future result of us going to the realm of nirvana possible. This was all done for the benefit of giving us peace of mind on our journey through life. Another one of our guest speakers, Miyaji Sensei, gave the example of going on a trip. When we are planning to go on a trip, we have to know several details, right? We have to know where we want to go. We have to know the way to get there, how we're going to get there. And we have to know where we are going to stay when we get there. If any of those details are not settled for us, then we can't really relax, right? We're worried. Oh, I know I want to go to this vacation, but how am I going to get there? I have to figure it out. Where am I going to stay? I have to figure it out. But once all of the details of our trip are taken care of, then we can relax. In this same way, even if we know that this life is full of hardship and suffering, and we know that we want to get out of it, if we are not sure how to do that, or the direction of, where we will end up, then we will not have peace of mind in this life. This is why Amida Buddha resolved for all beings to go to the Pure Land, the realm of non-suffering, the realm of nirvana. Our future Buddhahood has already been taken care of for us in the distant past through the vow. And this is what we are being urged to entrust in now. This is the way we water Buddha's seed for our future. We entrust in Buddha's vow and Buddha's wisdom and compassion. When we realize this treasure, this gift that we have been able to encounter in this life, then we can truly appreciate all the things that have happened in our karmic past that have made it possible to meet with this vow and to have the peace of mind that at the end of our life we will attain perfect peace and nirvana. Out of this meaning and out of this deep appreciation for what we have received, then we can pass it forward. We can say, I want other people to have this peace of mind too. And so we pass this seed forward by doing what we can to share the joy of what we have received. We pass it forward. We help create conditions for Amida's vow to be encountered not only by others now who are living with us, but those who will live in the future as well. This temple that we are currently sitting in, I did not build this temple. People sitting here today did not build this temple. This temple was established by our forebears. All of us here today might not know all of the people. We might not know all their names. But we can know that it was out of joy for this teaching and out of the thought of great compassion for all others. They raised money. They established this sangha. They built this building. They built this beautiful altar. All for the benefit of future generations, who is us now. And so again, we are still receiving the fruits of the compassionate seeds that were planted by people many generations ago. This is not even to mention Venerable Shinran's teaching, Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, and Amida Buddha's teaching, which we are sitting here reflecting on right now. That is alive in this temple. They are alive here through these teachings, through these values that they have left for us. And so the past is still here in the present, influencing each and every one of us. With this understanding, we are being urged to wholeheartedly turn our hearts and minds towards Buddha's wisdom and compassion, Buddha's vow, to remind ourselves that our future Buddhahood is settled already due to all the activities of the past. And so out of appreciation for what we have received, we can plant seeds of joy of Namo Amida Butsu in our lives for the spiritual benefit of not only ourselves, but all others that we may encounter, and others that we may not know who we are encountering. And so the seeds for the future exist here in our present. So as we continue to walk on our paths of lives, let us remember to appreciate all that has happened in the past, not just in our individual lives, but everything that had to happen in the world so that we can live our individual lives, so that we can meet with Amida's vow in this lifetime. Right? Hard is it to be born, hard is it to hear and receive. And so as we walk on our path of life towards the realm of Buddhahood, given this direction, let us continue to live with Namo Amida Butsu in our hearts and minds, sharing the joy of this teaching with others, so that others can have a chance to meet with this vow as well and find their own peace of mind. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming today to listen to this very important treasure which we are receiving. And I encourage all of us to continue to reflect on the meaning of Amida's vow and allow the wisdom and compassion of the Tathagata to permeate our hearts and minds and serve as a solid foundation for your everyday life. So please now allow me to close my message by reading a letter written by Master Renyo. What is taught in the tradition of Venerable Shinran is that the heart that entrusts in Buddha's vow is essential. For when we abandon various practices and wholeheartedly take refuge in Amida, our birth in the Pure Land is settled by the Buddha through the inconceivable vow power. The state we thus attain is described as, with awakening to a single thought of entrusting, we enjoin those who are in the stage of the truly settled. Recitation of the Nembutsu thereafter should be understood to be the Nembutsu as an expression of gratitude for the Tathagata's benevolence for settling our birth in the Pure Land. Humbly and respectfully. 承認日流のご関係の趣は信心のもって本当せられ候。そのゆえはもろもろの造業を投げ捨てて一心に皆に奇妙すれば。不可思議の願にきとして文の方より往生は事情せしめたも。そのくらいを一年ぽき入賞上始終とも釈し。その上の称名念仏た如来我が往生を定めたまいし。この人の念仏と心べきなり、あなかしこ、あなかしこ。ナマンダブツナマンダブナマンダブツナマンダブナマンダブツナマンダブナマンダブツナマンダブナマンダブツナマンダブ。
Thank you, Reverend Umezu, for your wonderful Dharma message this morning. We will now have the reading of Ryogemon.
I invite you to put your hands together as we read Ryogemon, words of understanding of our tradition. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust, and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Ryoge Shutsugon, Moro Moro no Zogyo Zashu Jiriki no Kokoro o Furistete, Isshin ni Amida Nyorai, Warera ga Kondo no Ichidaiji no Gosho, On Tasuke Sorae to Tanomi Moshite Soro. Tanomu ichine no toki, Ojo ichijo on Tasuke Jijo to zonji, この上の称名はご恩報者と存じ、喜び申し候。この恩断り、弔問申し分け候こと、ご解散承認ご出世のご恩、次第相乗の全知識の朝からざるご関係のご恩と、ありがたく存じ候。この上は定めを課せられる恩をきて、一語限り守り申すべく候。何万だ、何万だ、何万だ、何万だ、何万だ、何万だ、何万だ、何万。
Okay, so now it's time for announcements. First, on February the 3rd, Saturday from 2 to 3:30, we are having an interfaith seminar on inclusiveness entitled Create Inclusive Environments, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And our guest speaker will be Reverend Candace Shibata, who is the resident minister of Buddhist Churches of Stockton, and Reverend Keith Inoue, who is the senior pastor, Buddhist Churches Senior Pastor, West Los Angeles United Methodist Church. So if you would like to attend, please register. It's free, but donations are welcome. February 4th, we will be having our Lady Takeko Kujo and BWA Late Members Memorial Service starting at 10 o'clock, and our guest speaker will be Reverend Candace Shibata in English and Reverend Koho Takata in Japanese. February 11th is our Nirvana Day Memorial Service, 10 o'clock as well, and our guest speaker will be Reverend John Turner, who is the resident minister of the Orange County Buddhist Temple. Now we have several study sessions available. First one's on Saturday from 11 to 12 via Zoom. January 20th is the first session entitled Good Person and Evil Person. This will be led by Reverend Takata. Suggested fee is $50 for this. He also has one on Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. also via Zoom, and that starts on the 24th. Registration fee is $40 for that one. Now, we started a monthly Dharma Kids program. This is led by Reverend Umezu. And the next one will be on February the 4th. So if you have any grandkids or you do it from like kindergarten to high school, right? So if you know anyone, please invite them. Reverend Umezu also has Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness. This will start on January the 20th, which is Saturdays. Chanting service is at 10, and the discussion gathering is at 11, and everyone is welcome for this. Now, there's also a new event entitled College Night. It says, take a break from school and come out to enjoy an evening of games, food, and then meeting new people. So this will be on Friday, February the 2nd from 7 to 9, and it's $10 per person, and RSVP is required for this. Now, every third Friday of the month, we have bingo. We had a very nice bingo this past Friday. And just to let you know, we're having, for the month of February and March, we're going to have a guaranteed $100 pot for 2 games in February and March. So bring friends, come yourself. It's going to be a lot of fun. 7 o'clock here at the temple. It'll be in our social hall. We also have T-shirts, and if you haven't seen these, this was designed by some of our younger members right here. They're $20 each, and we have 2 styles, crew neck and V-neck, various sizes. So if you're interested, please see me. And then finally, I'm sure most of you know this, but in 2026, we will be celebrating our 100th anniversary here at the temple. And we have various projects that we're working on. One that we've already completed was the remodeling of the minister's office and also our staff office. And what we're working on right now is the remodeling of our columbarium, which is situated behind our altar. So we've got an example right here of what it looks like. It's being built in Japan right now, and it's due to be delivered sometime in September of this year. So with that, that'll conclude our service for today. Thank you again for coming. Now, we also are having after service, after about a 10-minute break, Reverend Umezu will be having her Dharma reflection session. So you're all welcome to stay for that. So, Sensei?
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please join me in Gassho. Namanda, 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 namanda. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please offer incense if you haven't done so. And if anyone is here and has any questions for school, could you please stay for the reflection session, and then I can talk to people after that. Thank you. And the reflection session happens in the back.